listeners, and welcome to another week on Chasm Converses. This is my first recorded episode abroad in London, and online at that. And so my guest for this milestone episode is none other than DashaDay. We talk about her single releases, her upcoming album, her creative mindset for writing songs and making videos, going to university in the US and living in Russia. It's a great discussion, so do join us. Let's get conversing. Chasm Converses. This is actually a really cool session because this is my first online podcast doing like over here in the UK, because all my other ones have been one-on-one. And so like today I'm speaking to DashaDay, who's all the way in Moscow in Russia.
Yeah,
which is
hi.
fucking awesome, if I may say so myself. How you doing today? Good?
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm doing great. And this is actually my first podcast in English. I've never done something like this in English. So now I'm kind of excited and a bit nervous as well.
Oh, that's incredibly brilliant. So you've obviously done a few. Have you done like a few in Russian, like previously then, I suppose?
Yeah, I've been invited to do an interview on a radio in Russia when I was a YouTuber. So yeah, did this. So I guess it's kind of a similar experience.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's cool. The world of podcasting is quite fun. You do sort of like delve into some cool topics and stuff, and it really gives you a chance just to sort of like, just unload and really just discuss things about yourself and your life and that sort of thing. And I'd love for you to sort of tell me some things about yourself. I know that you're obviously like, a pop singer, songwriter, filmmaker, all that sort of thing. But yeah, give us like a big insight into what you do.
God, it's easier to say what I don't do than what I do.
Yeah, I just pretty much, it would be easier to say, yeah, right, I don't do this, but all the rest.
It's just like, I grew up this way that I really like to try new things all the time. So now it's boring for me to do one thing because I know a lot of people prefer to concentrate on something like particular. But me, I like to know at least a little bit of something from each field. So I did filmmaking, as you said. I studied in New York Film Academy in Los Angeles in 2019. I really wanted to know how to produce videos. So I'm kind of a producer, but besides that, I do directing, I write scripts, and been doing all of this stuff since I was like 15, 16. So yeah, I'm very passionate about it. I'm very artsy, so I also do drawing.
Right, okay.
Now I'm into marketing. So actually, this is what I study at the university.
Yes,
because I think altogether, all of what I do can actually be helpful for my music career. So yeah.
I 1,000% agree with you on that one. And 1,000 is a big percent to agree with. But yeah, no, absolutely. That's a lot of stuff that you can do to implement that into your music career to sort of uplift it in that sort of way, which is brilliant.
Thank you. I guess the surprising part of what I do is that no one thinks I do IT, but I know how to program websites, how to program microcontrollers and stuff. And I even worked as an IT teacher a year ago when I had time. I just wanted to try again, new things out.
That's so cool. I mean, I will say for myself, like I'm also one of those people that tries to do a lot of different things at once because I'm never really satisfied with just doing like, the one thing. So like, I sort of dabbled in, I was in like an indie band as a bassist for 9 years. As well as that, I was doing professional wrestling, like, the WWE sort of like, body slams and that sort of thing. And like I did a bit of acting and theater stuff and, like just a bunch of different things as I think you're very similar, like not really satisfied in just knowing the one thing and going down that one path, wanting to have sort of different directions and dip your toes in like the pond of like everything else that surrounds it, which is like, it's really cool. But I think like for you, from all the stuff that I've sort of seen that you are currently doing, like you're really thriving at doing that. Like I'm pretty bad at it. Like I'm not that great. I'm pretty good at doing like, bits and pieces of my things, but a lot of times they do catch up to me. But yeah, you look like you've just got so much that you do and you can just do a lot of things at once, but you can do them really, really well. And that was one of the reasons why I was like, man, I got to talk to this girl and see how she does this stuff because it's really, really impressive.
I just believe that there is nothing in the world that like if one person did that no one else would do. Because if like a person can do it, some other person can do it too. So that's why
exactly.
I think I'm quite well at what I'm doing.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely brilliant. Well, I'd love for you to talk a little bit about like your music and that sort of thing because you've got quite a few songs out and you had an album out. I think a couple of years ago you put out an album. I think it was work of art, was it?
Yeah, yeah. So this is my first album in English. And the thing is, when I was just trying out,
Hmm.
I didn't know how to put my music online and stuff. So I did a
Yeah.
research and somebody suggested me to like this, God, I forgot how it's called, but this is an online distributor and it could like
Yeah, like an
post your
aggregator, I think. Mm.
post your music for free on Spotify, Apple Music and stuff.
Hmm.
And I did it, but for some reason, I guess maybe this website doesn't work anymore or something. But my
Mm.
music got deleted from every it was uploaded on.
Right, okay.
Yeah,
Gee
it
whiz, all
was
right.
so disappointing. So then, like, my friends suggested me, I guess it was DistroKid or
Yeah.
something, and now I finally have some control over my music. Now I
Yeah.
can do it and post whenever I want, whatever I want, and stuff.
Yeah, DistroKid is really good. I do use that for my other band. I use DistroKid, but yeah, they've got a lot of real cool resources and stuff, and it's good to be able to plan your releases out a little bit, and then obviously like know if they actually are going to be sent to like the correct stores or if they're just going to be deleted after like 10 days or whatever. Because yeah, that's like a musician's worst nightmare if that happens. Because I mean,
Yeah,
back in the day. If you put out an album, it's like, well, the album's not going to be deleted because it's physical copies. Like, people
yeah.
have those
It was so
things,
much
but
easier.
online, yeah, I know, right? And then like, yeah, online, it's like, dude, your song could just get like sort of taken off straight away, and it's like, oh shit, now like no one can hear it because it's all just so digitalized. That's the word.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, it's really cool that like you've gone that way and done that sort of stuff, and you've got some really cool songs as well, like lots of like the pop genre, a little bit of like electronic sort of stuff put in there as well. Like, I would love to know who your influences and stuff growing up were to sort of that sort of made you want to do music of that sort. Because I listened to a lot of 2000s pop music when I was growing up, like your Britney Spears, Delta Goodrem, that sort of stuff. Yeah, who were your kind of influences growing up?
Oh, actually, it's Marina and the Diamonds, Charlie XCX, and the
Hmm.
Neighborhood, but
Hmm.
also some kind of 80s, 90s influence as well, because my parents love 80s and 90s music.
Mm. Yeah.
So I don't know. It's like I grew up in this, household where when my parents kept on turning on music all the time, so there wasn't a
Yeah.
day without music for me. So I
Oh,
just
cool.
there was no choice for me than to
Yeah, right.
become a songwriter and a singer.
Just always like an active listener and that sort of thing. That's really cool.
Thank you. Yeah.
Wowzers, yeah, that's like I don't know. I'm the same. Like I listen to the same sort of thing, like it's the same sort of household thing, here's the music getting played and that sort of thing. And it does inspire you to write similarly to how those artists sort of had their music. And you're really cool because you've got your own style, your own flair. I like a lot of your song titles as well. Like, they're really kind of cool. Like Manipulator, Villain Face, like literally a song. What your most recent song, like, It's pretty good.
Thank you. The thing is, I'll tell you a secret. I don't know
Yeah, I'd love to
how
know.
to play an instrument properly, any instrument. So I have a
Wow, really?
piano. It's behind my back right now,
Oh, right.
on the
Yep.
background. But I'm not sure if you see it. Yeah.
Oh, yes,
So
now I can. Yeah, I can see it now. Yep.
but I've never learned how to play it properly. I've tried going to musical school twice, but I quit
Mm,
it twice because I didn't like to be taught something I didn't want to know because it's usually something classical what they teach us there.
mm,
And I was
right.
this type of person who was like, oh, I don't really listen to it, so I don't want to know how to play it. I want to know how to play.
Yeah.
Back then, I guess I was really obsessed with a band called R5. It's
Right,
like Ross
okay.
Lynch and his siblings, so kind of like a Disney band or something. So I
Mhm.
really wanted to know how to play their songs. So eventually I was like, Mom, I want a piano. So she bought me one and I just used
Ah,
YouTube tutorials how to play. And right now I don't
yeah.
know notes, I don't know chords. I just play by ear. And that's how I make
Yeah.
my music.
That's so cool. It's incredibly relatable because I am actually the exact same. So
No way.
my I don't know so I did music in like high school for a year and a half. That's how late I got into it, right? And then I went straight into like just working as a laborer for a landscaping company. And then I got just put in a band as a bassist. I didn't even know how to play bass. I just learned just how I went, and it was very simple. But through that, it was a very similar thing where like I never really got the theory and the dynamics of music like taught to me, or I didn't really learn it either. And then every time I tried to kind of do it, I just didn't, yeah, it just didn't really fit in the brain. It wasn't something that I just pursued and really got into wanting to learn a lot. But I like to play it. It was weird. It's like a confrontational sort of thing, I guess. But the first piano that I got, and I don't have it here, it's at my house in Adelaide under my mum and dad's bed. If it ever sees the light of day again, we'll see. But, apparently they're going to play it. But if I got it from my friend who's in a band, and it's just this really old like keyboard. You literally need like D batteries to actually power it up because there's no plug that goes
Wow.
into the wall to like charge it because it's so old. So like that's literally how I wrote a few songs with Chasm, right? So I wrote a few songs for my solo project. They're all on piano based, and literally the only way that I could figure out how to do it was just by going on like YouTube or going on Google and just looking at like chords that were just like, synonymous with lots of popular music. And I was like, all right. And I just sort of just chose a few that just suited and sounded good together. And then just like went with that. And it was very, very strange because like, yeah, most people that I do know sort of know all that sort of stuff and know instruments and that sort of thing. But it's quite good to find someone who is very similar in the fact that we just sort of play by ear and just see what comes out. And sometimes we can create some really cool stuff. So like,
Yeah, we kind of like create our own rules, how to play,
yeah,
and it's more fun because it's never really fun to study.
yeah,
But
I'm
it's
so
always
bad. So,
fun to use knowledge, but you can learn something without making mistakes. But
mm,
sometimes, like by making mistakes in music, you can create
mm,
something really new and something exciting. So I guess
yeah.
in music, it works very well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I completely agree with you. And it was another thing I wanted to chat about as well, because a lot of your songs have got like your music videos attached to them. And your YouTube channel's got like, I can't remember how many subscribers, but there's a lot. There's a lot of people who watch your videos and stuff. But they're all just so just bright and vibrant and just fun and all that sort of stuff. Like, do you have your own sort of team around you that helps you like record your music videos whenever you have a new song come out, and do you like sort of shoot them like around your hometown, or have you gone to different places to like sort of shoot the music videos and stuff? Like, take me through that.
Yeah, that's kind of a long story because I started off as a YouTuber.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I took a part in this, let's call it a YouTube show. It's kind of like Hype House right now, but it was
Hmm.
long before it was a thing, and it was called Hype Cam. It was one of
Right.
a kind show back then on YouTube when YouTube, at least I don't know how it is right now,
Hmm.
like in the States, in the UK, in Australia, but right now YouTube kind of lost its hype.
Yeah, it's been out for a
Nobody
long
really
time now.
checks it. But back then it
No.
was like on the top. Everybody
Mm.
like followed bloggers and stuff. So
Yeah.
I got invited by friends to play a character, and my character, he basically called me.
Hmm.
I don't know. Is it okay if I will swear a bit
That's
here?
fine. I
So
I
he was
feel like
like,
I feel like
uh,
I've already done it.
yeah, he was like, "Can you play a bitch in the show?" And I was 16. I was like, "Okay, I kind of want the fame because when they're 16 don't want to be famous." So I was like,
Yeah,
"Okay,
true.
let's do this. It's gonna be fun." But I didn't know that the project would have like 2 million of views per each episodes and stuff.
Yeah,
So
wow, that is very
people
good.
started believing that I was a bitch, and I started like getting a lot of hate comments.
Oh my God,
And
16.
yeah, it
Jesus.
was kind of tough. And I remember like when the project was over, some people, when they met me in the real life, they were like, "Oh, you're actually not a bitch." And I was like, "Sure not." But
Yeah,
like, okay, maybe that's my blonde hair. That's why people
maybe
think I'm
it
kind of
could be. I
bitch.
don't know. The blonde hair, maybe like the Russian expression if you're like being like very stern during like the character and that sort of thing. Maybe that could come across as well. Like I don't know. There's probably a few elements, but then again, like you're playing a character, so it's like it's weird when people don't sort of get that. That's like yeah, this is a character. Like I'm not always like this in real life, but sometimes they need a bit of a click to sort of get their head around it.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I had a contract, and I made a diss because of this contract. So I dissed another YouTuber, then another one, and that's how I kind of started my music career because of
Wow.
this thing. So yeah, I was dissing other YouTubers, uh, and then I was like, wait. I think it's time. And my friends were like cheering me up, saying that I sing well. And they were like, you need to do your own music. Like, stop making covers, just do it. So
Yeah.
I wrote an album in Russian. I put it on VK. It's kind of like Facebook, but
Right.
Russian.
Okay.
People really loved it, but
Hmm.
I don't know how I came to it, but I was like, one day I woke up and I was like, I think I want to study filmmaking and I want to study it in Hollywood. So
Yeah.
I kind of
Why
applied
not?
to this school and I started learning English. And then I was like, wait, what if I'll start writing a song in English? So I wrote Envy. This was my first song that I wrote.
Yeah.
And if you like listen to it, it has some dramatic like stuff because it's not grammatically correct, and I'm just like,
Right.
okay, I let it stay this way because this is my first song.
Yeah.
And
Yep. Yep.
still, like, some musicians are native speakers, they still make kind of mistakes so the song would sound better. So I was like, okay,
Hmm.
actually I don't care about it, the album
Yeah.
sounds great. So I recorded the album, and I was like, if I'm going to study filmmaking, I want to make music videos in Hollywood,
Yeah.
because
Fuck,
like this
cool.
is a
That'd be so
dream
good.
actually, to film something there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I did it,
Hmm.
and I've made 3 music videos while I was studying in LA, but it was like a short program. So
Wow.
3 months in LA kind of influenced me a lot. So when
Mhm.
I got back home, I wrote an EP. So I kept just writing
Oh,
and writing after that.
yeah. No, that's incredible. That's yeah, that's so cool. I mean, studying in Hollywood, that would have been just amazing. How was it like? Did you stay in the place that you were studying in, or did you have accommodation like outside of where you were studying? Like when you were
Uh-huh.
staying there?
So I've met some people through my university because we had to do some
Right.
projects. And the
Hmm.
thing is, before I came to LA, here in Russia, I filmed my music videos
Hmm.
completely for free. So I only like spent money on props, and my friends were like
Wow.
doing film as well. So they had cameras, and we just kind of did it all
Oh, that's really
together.
good.
I usually came up with the idea, and they're like, "Okay, we'll help you film this." Uh,
That's
but in
brilliant.
LA, I didn't know that if you want to even film outside, like in the park, for example,
Hmm.
you need to have a permission and you have to pay for it and stuff. And it takes
Oh,
a
wow.
time to get a permission. And so if you do it without permission, somebody can call cops on you, and they will like,
Oh, wow. Jesus.
yeah, ask you like, what's
Yeah.
up? Why are you doing this? You need a permission. So I was kind of scared to do that. And even
Hmm.
in your own apartment, if you like renting it, you still need
Yeah.
to get a permission.
Really? To film in your own
That's
apartment that you're renting?
crazy.
Oh my God, that's strange. Yeah, wow, that's
So somehow, when we were like asked to do our own projects, some people
Mhm.
from my class decided to like divide into groups. Then they were filming their own projects, short films about coming out to their parents as a transgender person. And another
Mhm.
project was about guy just being super tired after work, and when he comes home, everything distracts him, something like that. I
Right.
didn't want to be part of both this project because I had a purpose. I just really wanted to make
Mm.
music videos as much as
Yeah.
possible.
That's awesome.
So I was alone on my own project.
Oh,
Even though, like, with the casting auditions, some of my classmates helped me out because back then I didn't speak English fluently.
right.
Especially when I was nervous, I was like, okay.
Yeah, yeah, right,
So,
okay. Yeah,
but
studying.
still, I didn't have anyone to help me film it. So, what I did, I was asking one of my professors if there's somebody at the university who could help me, like director of photography or something. So,
Uh-huh.
she was so sweet and nice. She was like, "Okay, let me send some emails." And the problem was that everybody was on a spring break. No,
Right,
it was
okay.
like not a spring break, but some kind
Right.
of
Maybe
holiday. I
like
don't
July
really
4th or
remember.
something, I don't know.
So yeah, the thing is that
Mm.
yeah, somebody decided to help me out. I was like, wow, because I again sent over my idea on email. I was like, okay, here's a script. That's what I want to do. Here's a song, and people actually believed in my idea, and they were like, actually, I love this song. And I had a few meetings with a few directors of photography, then with the
Hmm.
director. So I found everybody for my projects, and they were like, okay, we really like it, so let's work on it for
Wow.
free. And the other like
Hmm.
groups of people, like the other project, they had to pay for like the
Hmm.
lightning guy, and for other crew members to film their
Yeah.
projects. So I guess this story is quite
Yeah.
inspirational because you need to like talk to people, ask if they're into your idea. If you have like a creative idea, you need to go for it, no matter what. Even if you don't have like enough money to make
Hmm.
it come true, sometimes with you like thoughts, you can create even so much better like projects if you just use something less
Hmm.
expensive. We actually filmed the music video in the forest. We
Sick.
woke up at 5 a.m. Yeah, I found actors who were like, yeah,
Hmm.
let's do it. So we all woke up at 5 a.m., went to into the woods. We didn't do the
Yeah.
scouting, like location scouting before, because the director of photography, he was like, actually, I know this sick place. You will love it. It just looks very good.
Right,
So
okay.
I was like, okay, Carlos, let's go
Yeah.
there. So everybody, we had three
Oh,
cars
wow.
of people who were just,
Yeah. Just wanted to be involved in it.
inspired by this. They just wanted to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And that was crazy.
That's so brilliant.
So
Wow.
it worked out.
That's sick. Yeah, we had like in Australia we've got a forest called Kaipo Forest. It's just like huge, massive, big trees and stuff. And like I filmed there with one of my older bands as well. And then even like where I am now in Richmond in the UK, there's a park maybe just behind me, and it's I can't remember how many hectares it is, but it's like over 1,000. It's huge. But there's like little pop up forests and like a lake and stuff around there as well. And I'm like, oh, I want to film there for sure because forests and that sort of thing are brilliant places to film. But that's amazing. That's really cool. Because yeah, a lot of times people really just get a kick out of being involved in something that they like to do. I in my metal band Kazrin, we had a lot of I had a lot of my friends feature on songs and tracks in our first EP. Because
Mhm.
I had worked with them as I'd worked with them in the Adelaide music scene for years. But because I was in
Mhm.
an indie band, I never got the opportunity to sort of have them on as a featured vocalist or work with them in any kind of way. But in this regard, I was like, well, some of the music's quite different to what a lot of these people sort of listen to and whatever, but I'll still ask them and see if they want to do a featured vocal or be a part of it. And the majority of them said yes, and they all just came in and did some stuff, and so we had like 4 people on our EP, our first EP, which is amazing. And the main part of it was just that they just wanted to be involved in it. They liked what was going on. They enjoyed the songs that I was doing with my band, and then they just wanted to be involved. And as you were saying before, just like meeting people and talking to people, you never know if they're going to dig your project until you sort of approach them and ask. And if they do, it opens up a big world for you to be able to then go and do the thing that you want to go and do. And you might, as I said, find yourself in 3 separate cars with a bunch of random people who are just excited to do like what you're
Yeah.
doing, which is incredible. It's brilliant.
Yeah, for people out there listening, never be afraid of just talking to people.
Mm,
If you have a creative idea, go for it.
yeah.
Don't like, because a lot of people, I guess, they leave kind of they do like go to work, then go to bed, go to work, go to bed. And sometimes everybody wants something creative in their lives. So if
Absolutely.
you have some kind of a thought in your head that you want to make something, it doesn't necessarily mean like needs to be music related.
Yeah.
A lot of people want to be involved.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm the same, man. I don't like, doing the whole going to work, coming home, watching like, a TV series that I've watched for the last, 10 years on repeat because it's just like my comfort show. I'd rather try and do something else. I mean, obviously sometimes with work it's hard because, I mean, currently I'm working like, 12 in the afternoon to like 9 o'clock at night, or like, 4 in the afternoon till 12:30 in the morning. So it's like, it's very back and forth and whatever. But even so, it's like, well, that's great, but I still have to have that time to kind of be creative and that time aside to sort of pick my brain, because if I don't get that time, that's when I do start to fall into a little bit of a rut, and like I start to just
Yeah.
get stuck in that sort of that circle of just going to work, going to bed, going to work, going to bed. And as you said, like you need that creative spark, especially if you are a creative person. Like you really can't afford to lose that. Isn't this a fun conversation we're having? This is brilliant.
Yeah. I also wanted to ask you, how did you come up with the idea of doing podcasts?
Oh, cool. Yeah, well, I wanted to do podcasting maybe a year or so ago. So my metal band, Kazarin, was myself and my friend Travis. And we were just a duo. We worked together, just doing some songs. Had been in my indie band for a long time, and it was starting to disintegrate very slowly, but surely. And I always wanted to be a metal vocalist. So I was doing my metal screams and learning how to do that. And we did some music together. And then in the end, we invited my friend Rory, who actually was on a podcast with me recently, to be the drummer. And he became part of our band. And then as we had the band growing, I sort of wanted to think of ways that I could, expand the demographic of the band, just being a band that recorded music, released music, never went on tour, because it's in Adelaide, it's very difficult to go on tour with bands and that sort of stuff, because Adelaide, Australia in itself is so big. So it's like most of the times you're driving in your car, because most of the times you don't have, unless you've got people in like Melbourne or Sydney or wherever who are supplying gear, most of the time you're driving yourself and your gear across country for like 8 hours, 16 hours at a time to go to these venues. But so basically I wanted to find some other alternative. And so originally I wanted this podcast to be part of the metal band, where me and one of the other members would talk to just guests and that sort of stuff. And the main reason for it was that during the time that I was a musician, I met and played with so many different bands and, met heaps of people and whatever, but I really didn't know anything about them, because like when you play shows and that sort of thing, you're part of the band dynamic, you really don't have a lot of time to have a real in-depth talk with someone about like their life and what inspires them to be a musician and that sort of thing. So I was kind of like, man, there's a lot of people that I want to talk to about this sort of stuff. Maybe I should start doing this. And the guys were a bit like, well, we're still a bit fresh, so maybe it's not something that we'll do yet, but maybe one other time, maybe some other day. And then one of my best friends, Sam, who I was in the Paper Sunsets band with for 9 years, we just I wanted to do a song with him because I'm running out of time. Because he I lost my train of thought there. That's right. So he wrote a song, which is a song that he did on piano, and we did an acoustic song for a song called Hear Me. And I loved the dynamic of our song. I loved his separate song. And so I thought, let's do a song together where you give us we give like the keyboard, the piano, atmospheric stuff, and we'll give you those like acoustics and that sort of thing. And so that's when we did Fractured. And we decided that we'd just do separate names, because he already had a solo band name. I didn't have one yet. So I decided to call it Chasm. And then when I decided that, I was like, well, this could actually be my pathway to doing a bunch of different things around this one alias. And so the podcast was the same. And so when I decided that I was going to move to London, it sort of became a make or break thing of like, if you're going to talk to these people, you've got to do it now, because you're not going to be here for very long. So then I just decided, right, I've got an interface for my demos. I bought a microphone, and then I just messaged a bunch of people and was just like, hey, I'm starting up this podcast. let's just, do you want to have a chat about this and that and whatever. You're all musicians. A lot of them are sound engineers, actors, like wrestlers and stuff. So that's sort of how it kind of started for me. It's weird. This is as long that I've ever ranted on my own podcast. So I appreciate you asking me the question. Yeah. Most of the time,
that's brilliant.
Yeah. Most of the time I just let my guests just go and do their thing and tell me all about themselves. But yeah, that's a big rant that I've done. But even so, no, thank you for that question. That was wonderful. We don't have a lot of time left, but I would love to finish off with saying that you were in the UK recently. You came over here for a bit of time. Yeah. How did you enjoy it? What was your favorite part about it?
First of all, first 2 days were terrible because you can barely use cash, and just because with the current situation in Russia, you can use your cards. So it was hard for me to pay for stuff. So then I figured it out, and my friends made my stay very well because I've been there for 3 weeks. I got very inspired. Some people now, my new album is gonna have some very interesting songs on it just because of some people that I've met. And I'm just like, okay, now this song is for you.
Oh boy. There's a lot of very strange people over here. I have noticed that myself. I mean, I work in a bar over here. I see characters every single day, and there are some lovely people here. There are some nutcases, but
some
you get a weird bunch.
People are very nice, and I was really glad to meet my friends because we've met online, and now we were able to communicate in real life. Yeah, meet in person.
Yeah,
and I really like the architecture, the vibes in London. Hyde Park, my favorite.
I still have to go there. Actually, I might go there today because my day's off today. I might actually go there because I haven't been there yet. But yeah, because you did I think you did like an Instagram thing with you in Hyde Park. I think it was.
Because I have a lot of content. I went there almost every day to feed squirrels. So grab some nuts with you if you're gonna go there.
How
You'll
cool!
be surprised.
They are so cool. I was wandering around the graveyards because I didn't do a lot of graveyard wandering when I was in Adelaide, but there's so many cool graveyards in London, and there's squirrels everywhere, and it's crazy because I was like, I've never really seen a squirrel. I was like, oh shit, it's a squirrel just running around. Someone fell out of a tree one time. So in Hyde Park,
they are more friendly. So because I've seen some near churches, they are not friendly at all. But Hyde Park, you will love it.
Sweet. There was one at a church that he came right up to me, and I was like, oh cool, hello, how you doing? And then my brain for a second was like, wait, can squirrels jump
they
straight
can.
into people?
The thing is that I bought a new coat, and some squirrel decided to just crawl on me, and now I have little holes in my new coat just because of it.
Oh, god damn, that's enough.
So be careful.
Yeah, I turned to the side. Yeah, no, I definitely will be. I turned to the side just to be like, all right, mate, what are you doing? You're gonna go that way? You're not coming right to me? Because I was like, fuck, go away.
Yeah,
suck you away. But no, even so, last thing I will absolutely say before we wrap this up is that I do love the way how you go about your social media and all your Instagram stuff. You're such a very open, socially dynamic person. You really do invite people to have a dialogue with you and message you openly and ask questions and all that sort of thing. I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of people really do get around a lot of what you do, because they do feel like, they can just message you and ask you this and that, whatever, and you'll be like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, I just like to inspire people because I think they always need somebody to talk to or to express their emotions. So I do kind of interactive content on my Instagram for this.
Yes, that's wonderful. Well, Dasha, this has been absolutely fantastic. I really cannot thank you enough for joining me online today. It's been absolutely brilliant. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, and your new album, I cannot wait for it to come out. I don't know when it's going to come out, but I'll be sure to be streaming it
this summer, definitely. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for listening to that episode this week with myself and DashaDay. I hope that you enjoyed it. Feel free to like and subscribe to the socials, or leave a rating and review on the Spotify or wherever you listen to your podcasts, and be sure to check back next week for a brand new episode with a brand new guest here on Chasm Converses.